All right, guys, let's go. Mm. Let's go, guys. All right, 90 days. Oof, it went by quick, especially this last month. Went by quick. So let's go here. Let's see how much we've dumped into this. All right. So January 16th is when we started this whole, case study. And today is April 16th. So let's go. So far we've put in $1,508.20. Can y'all see that? Yes, you can. Okay. So right here, let's do the same thing. The store, January 16th. Right? Nope. January 16th to April 16th. Okay. We've generated $2,665.56. My handy dandy calculator here, the most advanced calculator in the world. 2, 6, 6, 5, 5, 6. Damn, that's a lot of sixes and fives. I'm the same thing. All right, minus 150820. $1,157.36 net positive. Okay. Now remember, guys, we based all this off of this dollar trial that they have, $1 per month for 3 months, $3. Right? So where's my notepad at? All right. I got my notepad right here, guys. All right. So normally it's 39 US dollars that you're paying for Shopify. So for 3 months times 3, that's 117 minus the $3. We're left with 114. So we didn't take $114, put it aside, put it into the bank or whatever, right? We just imagined that we are going to spend that already. And we said, all right, we've got $114 to put into the business. All right, you're going to spend it anyways. So just imagine that you already have it, all right, that it's already spent. Okay. So we're going to take 114 and put it into ads. It doesn't cost nothing to start a business manager or Facebook. They don't charge you to open that up. Shopify is only $1 to start. So literally your out of pocket cost is $1. That's it. And look at what we were able to do, right? Net positive $1,000, right? And then you take off the Shopify fees. There's somewhere here to do that. I don't know where. We got 343 orders, by the way. But minus the Shopify fees, remember, there's no cost of goods. We're not shipping anything. That's what I love about digital, right? There's nothing to, I got to pay for the product. I got to pay for shipping. No, right? If I spend $5 in ads and I made $20, I'm left with $15 in my pocket. Well, minus the Shopify fees, right? Shopify's on this is about what, 3% almost? So you figure I'm still with like, a little over $1,000 net. Remember, your first 10,000 goes right back into it, so don't waste it. We've got money now. I haven't paid out of my pocket for no ads. And I used an old store, so I didn't do the dollar trial. I was paying $39 a month. Right? But guys, right there, I haven't used my own money to pay for any of this stuff. Not even for the upgrades for some of the apps that I've showed you guys. None of it, because we're using their money to pay for this stuff, to run our businesses. And there's nothing wrong with that, guys, right? Walmart, there's Macy's, Amazon, any business you could think of. They use our money to keep the doors open, to pay for the employees, to put more products out there. Nothing wrong with it. As long as you do it ethically, guys. Okay? Nothing wrong with it. Look at what we've been able to do in 3 months. Imagine what we're going to do by the end of the year, because everything just keeps growing. Right? So let's break this down now. All right? So you can see the growth and you can see the down, not a downfall. Because remember, business go up and down. It's what you do when it starts going down and you start seeing it. In my opinion, the most difficult, difficult skill to learn in this any business really that requires you to fund it, is discipline. Discipline is the hardest skill to learn on this and to acquire, right? And we'll show you here in a bit. But let's say December 6th or December, January 16th or 31st, we did 375, right? And we spent 222. All right. So we netted a little over. We were in the positive already, right? A little over $100. Okay. And we didn't start seeing a positive. Let me see. On day one, we saw positive, right? Day one was we got a sale, right? $11, and then we only spent 952, right? On day two, right? We spent 976, and we only made, right, $7, right? That's good. We were in a negative by like what, $1, less than a buck, right? But then let's go here from, I believe, until the 21st it was, right? $35 we made, right? And then here from the 16th to the 21st, we were in the negative, right? Look, 56 we spent. So we were in the negative by what, $20? Not even, right? About $20. Not much. But by then I'm already using their money still, right? I'm just out of my pocket. Like the first $30 or so came out of my pocket. Now I'm starting to get money deposited into my bank by Shopify. That's paying for whatever's coming up next. So I still haven't paid myself back. I still owe myself. It's almost like a loan, right? I still owe myself about $30, but I'm using their money. Okay. Then, right, I think it was in a week, exactly 16 or 23, we spent $82. And right here, right, 144. Now we're in the net, or in a positive, in the green. And since then, we haven't looked back, right? So we ended the month, right, 375, and we only spent, right, 222. So we're in the positive already going into the new month, right? So the new month, February, right? And this time we've got some, we've got things are going. We're in a positive. Sales are starting to come in, so we're starting to experiment more. We were only spending less than $10 a day for like 2 weeks, and then we bumped it up a little bit, maybe to $15, to $20 a day. But because sales were coming in, there was days that we made like $80, $100, only spending $10. So we had budget in reserve to experiment a little more, to put a little bit more budget, to raise the budget on some of the ad sets, right? Introduce the retargeting campaigns, which now require a little bit more of expenses, right? But we got money to cover it. We're not using our own, right? So in February we spent 519, right? And we made 665. Just about the same, right? As far as the ratio goes from gross to net, right? It's about 100 to $150 that we in the positive. Keep that in mind, guys. As long as everything's the same or growing, you have to go in at the right pace, right? You're not going backwards. It would have been different if it was reversed and I was in the negative. But from here, we've already had a month and a half of constant traffic, constant data, just telling us what to do, what's good, what's bad, right? Improving as we go, right? We've got more budget to introduce. It's paying for itself. Everything else, by this time, the second month kicks in. It's $1. Another dollar is $2 only that we spent so far on Shopify. The rest has been on ads because of that $114, guys, that we started with. I only used what, $30 out of that? Right? All right, so let's go on to the next month, right? We're improving, everything's going good, sales are still coming in, right? This month we spent just about the same, right? $100 more. But why? You said it's like almost the same because we things we learned. All right, this worked. Let's focus on what works only for this month now. We adjusted, guys. Everything's documented here. You can go back into the things. Everything's documented. Everything's put there. We improved as we go. We adjusted as we go. The more sales we got, we didn't go crazy dumping money in, but we raised it, smart, right? Made smart, educated decision on what to do with those increase of sales. All right, we're gonna bump it up from $10 a day to $15 a day, from 15 to 20. Not go too crazy, right? Even when we had it at $40 a day, we were still making sales. We just adjusted accordingly because we didn't see that big of a difference, right? Let's see what we did. We spent 600 in March and we made 1,200, $1,232.07, right? It's almost 2-to-1 ratio. We doubled our money. Why? Because of all that we're reading data, we're analyzing everything, we're improving as we go, we're adjusting as we go, we're, raising, lowering. Okay, we're not pausing, but slowing down when we needed to. I'm telling you, discipline for me specifically was the hardest thing. Because trust me, when I had a good week, woof, for the following week, I would put all that money back in, thinking, all right, I made 500 sales, right? And I put in 1,000 to make it. Well, let me put in 2,000 now, right? Because it only makes sense, right? More money, more. Like, no, man, you know how much money I've lost doing that, right? It's insane. Like literally, I would let's just make 10,000 bucks in one month, positive, and I would put that into the next month, thinking I'm gonna triple that and end up 10,000 in the hole because you do things just stupid, right? Now watch this, right? We're going back to adjusting and improving. Improving doesn't mean like just putting more money into it. Improving means knowing what to do to make sure you're not losing your butt off, right? So towards the end of March, we saw things plateauing and sort of dropping. So we adjusted everything, right? So I want you to see something here, right? So for the month of it's only 16 days, right? But you can see that we spent 143.61, right? So right here for this month of May, I said March of May, month of April, we've only made 392. It's still like a 2-to-1 ratio, right? Half and half, a little bit more than half we made, right? Or double, I should say, right? 400, 150 spent, right? So about 100. You guys know we doubled it, right? We're still double, right? But look at last month, right? The last month was the same thing. We're on the right track to still double what we make, right? Not matching last month's, but we're still on track to making double, right? 600 spent, 1,200 made. Over here, 150 spent for this month so far, right? 400 made. You see that ratio doesn't change? I adjusted my ad spend according to the sales to make sure that I end up this month at that double ratio. I made less money, but I also spent less money, right? You see how I'm adjusting according to things? I'm still trying new things, like we're doing lead generation, all that stuff, right? The first 16 days of March, I think we had a really good 768, right? And we spent 313. But look at the ratio, double, double. It's like the first 2 months, right? January and February, the ratio was the same, right? We were left with like 150 net. Then for March was double. Same thing going on for April, right? that's really I'm telling you, that's really what you got to focus on. Make sure you're not losing your butt off. Make sure you're using, you know, the money that ain't money that's coming in. You got to use it smart, right? Adjust, and that discipline is the hardest thing to. This is why I tell you guys, I'm available to you guys 7 days a week at all hours. I mean, not at night because I'm sleeping, but so there you go, man. That's the numbers, right? Pretty good. We're at $1,154 positive net. This is crazy insane. And I'm just so excited what this store is going to do for the end of the year.